What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Becoming the 1% podcast. My guest today is Whitney Jones. She is the owner of Prophysiques here in Arizona. She's the three-time Miss Olympia. You are going to love this episode. Enjoy.
Yeah.
So I like to start every episode by sort of allowing you to introduce you.
Okay.
I mean, this is obviously, you're very known locally, but a lot of people out there may not know.
Sure, yeah.
Three-time Miss O. I want to hear about your journey. Obviously, we're going to get into all the concussions and the injury protocols and all that stuff.
Right. Totally.
But what got you into bodybuilding?
Gosh. So wait, are we on now?
Yeah.
Okay,
We're on.
I'm like, are we talking?
Very informal.
I didn't know much about the whole bodybuilding industry at all. Like, I've always been into sports growing up, but it was a total dare. I saw these chicks in the gym and I was into training. I'm like, why are they like getting like shredded and just toned? And I was at that time doing marathons, triathlons. And it's like, your body just looks like shit. Let's be honest. I'm like, I got into it to like tone up and look good just as an adult. And then I saw these chicks. I was like, so what is it they're doing? So long story short, a guy was like, you could never do this sport. And that's all it ever takes. I'm like, I don't know what this sport is, but I'm going to fucking do it. And I may not be good, but I'm just going to show you I can do it. That's how I got into it.
What age were you?
That was, so I'm 45.
Okay.
And that was, yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Good job.
I'm kind of fucking old.
Yeah, but you kind of don't look it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was 11 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
That's
got totally in this way
a
late.
surprisingly short amount of time for being. How many times have you won Miss O?
Three.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
I know.
that took what? That's
I know.
insane.
Totally not. I should not have achieved anything that I did, to be honest.
33 years old is when you started?
Yeah.
I mean, for
Wow.
perspective, most people are lifelong athletes before they even
Yeah.
get to the stage, and much less win it, much less three times.
That's like you starting in a year, right? How old are you?
I'm 32, and
So if you started at 33, that's when she started.
Yeah. And it was literally for fun. It was like one and done. But it was actually, I did figure because I didn't even know about the fitness division, but I was at the show and I saw these chicks in costumes, like jumping around and dancing.
Which division do you compete in?
So I compete now in fitness.
In fitness.
And that's where you do the routine. So yeah,
Senior
they judge
routine.
your physique, but
Were you a gymnast?
no, I have no formal training. Like,
How is that possible?
I have no idea.
See if you can pull up on her page. Where's a good so we can see your routine?
So that one that was just posted, it's the one in the top. It's got
No, that's not it.
yeah,
at the top.
Yeah, right above that one though, in the white costume.
Right there.
Well, that's not the routine. You'll see kind of a
Which one? Tell him
so right below the kicking.
in the angel wing. Okay,
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
That one. So
So
this
this is clips of my routines that I do. You'll see a few different of the moves. Yeah.
Wait a minute. So,
Yeah.
so did you have a background in band or a background in dance?
Not formal. Like I just would.
No dance, no gymnastics. You
no.
just figured out how to do this. Would you throw an aerial in there?
Yeah.
A flip?
So I know how to tumble just because my two brothers growing up would dare me to do stuff.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, and then I cheered in high school, but it was nothing like you did like.
Yeah, you didn't do it
now.
professionally, like to this
And we
level.
just made up our own stuff. It's not like we had coaches that taught us stuff. I'm kind of a daredevil, so that's why I have so many injuries. But yeah, it's just kind of like, let's try it. People would say, hey, do you know how to do this? I'm like, well, there's only one way to find out.
Where do you practice something like that? I mean, do you go to a obviously not a gym? You'd have to go to like a track or to a tumbling gym, like a gymnastics place.
I do now. Like if I'm trying a new skill for certain routines, I won't just try and throw it anywhere, which is what I did early in my career because it's where do I go? Again, it was kind of like, we'll just figure it out. I wonder if I could do a back tuck, like I did back in high school or whatever.
Right.
So, but when you haven't done shit for years, you're
try
like,
to do it.
oh, wait, how do I do this? Because again, I had no formal training. So it's like I visualize everything and I would visualize it and like imagine it and then I just throw it. So now I have mats. So at my gym, I have, we upgraded and like to a different area where we have an entire aerobics room.
And
so
you
I
own
pull that.
Prophysiques, just so that people have a
Yeah.
reference on that. Okay, so
Yeah.
and where is that? Is that in Mesa?
No, it's actually, so we're on Williamsfield and Gilbert Road, so not too far at
I
all.
knew it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know we're like obnoxiously close.
Yeah,
we're
totally.
very, very close.
Yep.
So that's awesome. Okay, so you basically implemented this into your gym because you're doing it.
Yeah.
But did you ever have like a gymnast coach or a tumbling instructor or anything like that?
Once I turned pro, I was like, well, I probably better learn how to do some of this normal shit. And so I did. I worked with someone.
Once you
but
turned pro.
I know. It's like, I probably better quit trying to fake it, basically, and try to be good. But it actually screwed me up. So I did maybe 5 or so lessons. My brain, the way I work, you can't teach me. You just have to show me. Like literally, and I'll watch a
Just
certain skill
Demonstrate.
over and over and over until I can visually see myself doing it, and then I go.
Wow.
Yeah, so when you break it down, when like you say, oh, you set, you jump, you squat, and then you throw your tuck, like I couldn't land any skill.
It's too complicated. It overdoes it. You just have to
I
watch
just
it.
have to visualize it and just watch it over and over.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I did gymnastics for 8 years.
Oh,
a
did you?
long time
Okay,
ago. But when
yeah.
I was younger, that was actually my first. I'd say that was my first organized physical activity was gymnastics. I started when I was probably, oh goodness, maybe 7, and did it till I was about like
Really?
15.
Oh, wow.
So it was a you know what it is? It gives you a really good foundation.
Totally.
Like,
And coordination, especially for
flexibility,
boys. Oh, yeah.
mobility, strength. The strength it takes for you to go up onto the rings and go up there and do. That's what was so
There's-
funny.
yeah.
I remember when I remember when CrossFit like came alive and they were doing muscle ups and I'm like, what? Like a kip to get it? Like
Totally.
No, it's not. I'm like, yeah, actually it is, and that's not really a skill. That's just to get up to start your routine.
Yeah.
But it's for kids, especially when people ask me like, what's a good first. I honestly even would say gymnastics over jujitsu. Maybe. I don't know.
What about wrestling?
I would say wrestling and jiu-jitsu are probably very similar. I did wrestling second. So wrestling I did actually once we reached junior high and a little bit. I stopped at high school, but we did that sort of together with gymnastics and into junior high. Mm-hmm. So they did very well together. But as far as just a well-rounded physical introduction to activity and human movement, I think gymnastics at a young age is the best.
Yeah.
Because it's like everything. And you know what? It's a lot body weight. It's not like it's overloading the child. You're teaching the kid how to move in his own space.
Yeah.
Totally. Yep.
So it's good.
They say it's the one thing that you can teach kids coordination for any sport that they want to do, as they grow up. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. What have you done with your own kids? Because I know, how many do you have?
I have 2 boys.
2 boys. Mm-hmm. Did they, because it must be, not pressure, but pressure. Having your mom, I know if my mom was Miss Olympia, I'd be like, well, I better look a certain way, because otherwise people are going to be like, what's wrong with you? Like, why?
Right.
So what was that like?
I never wanted to push them into anything. Like, otherwise I feel like that's where kids go the opposite direction. They're like, like whatever my parents want me to do, I'm out.
Yeah.
So I was just like, hey, wait till they say, I want to try this sport, or I want to, I don't know, sing, like whatever it was. I just want to support them and let them kind of figure out what it is they love.
Yeah.
So, gosh, everyone would be like, aren't your kids in sports when they were 3 and 4 and 5? If they wanted to, like, I know my oldest got in, like, T-ball when he was, like, 5. And literally all they'd do was, like, run around and look at ladybugs and catch flies. There was no sport. They were doing nothing.
Right.
But then I just wanted them to try a bunch of stuff. So now they both are heavy into football, which I totally love. So they go to Basha High School. So my oldest is going to be a senior this year, and then my youngest will be a freshman.
Gotcha.
And
so like 14, 18, something like
14,
that.
17.
14, 17, okay.
Mm-hmm. And so their varsity won state last year.
Did they really?
So, yeah.
I'm so out of touch with everything. Obviously, it's high school.
Right, totally. I was not even paying attention until they got in it. But
right.
I fucking love it. Like, I love anything sports related. Mm-hmm. So I'm that mom in the fans being like, wow, like crazy, animated, and but I love it. They did baseball forever, but now it's all football.
It must be cool because you get to kind of live vicariously.
Totally.
And what's funny is most parents are living vicariously through their kids when the parents are no longer really succeeding at anything physical anymore. Yeah. but you're going to try to compete and do Olympia again this year.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Going for that 4th title.
How many? Yeah. What's the record? Who holds the most?
So Adela Garcia's won 8 times.
You're trying to, and you're going for number 4.
I'm going for number 4, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But like the people who are my biggest competition, so when I compete this year, I'll be 46. And then my 2 biggest competitors, they're like 31 and 32.
Yeah. So it's,
yeah.
Do you think, now, because I, of course, understanding muscle mechanics and everything as I do, I mean, it takes years to put on and pack on the muscle needed to compete at this level. So age, if done properly, may not actually be a negative in this type of a sport. You have more time, thus more muscle, thus a better chance. Do you see it as, I mean, do they have an advantage being younger, or is it, how do you see that?
I think for sure, primarily because it's not even just the being younger. Like, I've literally broken almost every bone in my body. I'm half metal at this point with all this stuff I have going on. So that's where I think they have the advantage. Most of them at that pro level, especially in our division, they are level 10 gymnasts. They've been doing this forever. They've been lifting forever. So I am far from the norm for the sport. Like, no one gets in late, like mid-30s, and like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna turn pro. And so I mean, they have a lot of advantages, but I like that. Like, I love a challenge. Like, I love where people are like, you can't do this, and I'm like, you might be right, but I'm gonna do everything I can to fucking prove you wrong. And if I can't, then I'm gonna know, like, I at least leveled up to a point that you will be shocked, you know, and you're gonna be like, well, okay, well, I shouldn't doubt you. I love a challenge. So that's why I've been still in it and doing it.
Especially a challenge that defies the stereotypes surrounding age.
We're
seeing more and more of this too. We just had on Rudy Kudlub, the CEO of Kabuki Strength.
Oh yeah,
the dude is
73.
That's right, 73.
No way.
And he holds the record for powerlifting for squat, bench, dead in his age group.
Insane.
He started when he was in his 50s.
Yeah, he rolled off the couch one day in like his 50s.
Just decided to start lifting weights.
I love that shit. Like, why not? Right? You got one life. Go big. Like, legit. Just do anything and everything until you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's why it's really disappointing when you see like the dad bod just in full swing with like 90% of everybody walking around. Like, everybody looks terrible all the time.
Yeah.
And you just like, this is not, you think this is like a destiny for you as you age. That is not true.
Jake is sitting right there.
You don't see my gray hairs.
It's funny you mentioned I only when you put in product do I see the gray hairs. Other than that, it disappears.
It's because I have kids, basically.
Yeah, right. They do that to you.
Speaking of the up and coming generation, is there anyone that's like super impressive that stands out to you that we should be keeping an eye on in competitive bodybuilding?
In my division, or just in general?
In general.
Gosh, there's a lot. What I think is interesting is the people who are the black sheep, the underdog, and don't have the hype. Those are the people I like, that are just kind of quietly like that grind in silence, and then they just show up and you're like, who the fuck is this person?
Yeah.
So those are the ones I like, but it's hard to identify them because, again, they show up at Olympia. Olympia is like the World Series, the Super Bowl of our sport.
Yeah.
So people can kind of fly under the radar, but Arizona's got a massive market. Like, we've got so many legit pro athletes in our industry here.
In every industry.
Yeah.
Arizona's
you're
hub.
right, actually.
Yep.
I mean, it's just growing and growing. So
we've learned that more and more the more we podcast. Just
I bet.
realizing who is actually in this state and who comes here. They may not be local to here, but Phoenix is like, like people come to Phoenix. Yeah.
Yep.
For a lot of different stuff.
Totally.
It's very, very cool. What exactly is the process to get ready for number 4? Is it going to be different than the first 3? I mean, for you? Because you're dealing with all these, and again, I want to get into how all these injuries happen, but you've now stacked them up.
Yeah.
Is there a different, are you taking a different protocol this time, or is it just the same?
Well,
because it works, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, truth be told, I've only competed in one Olympia that I didn't have a broken bone at the time of competition.
What?
Like 2021, my most recent one, I broke my leg 3 days before. And it's like, fuck, what do? You go. It's 2-minute routine. I mean, I did have to walk in heels, and that was kind of sketchy, but I didn't fall. What? But yeah, it's like you got 2 minutes. You can do anything for 2 minutes if you think about it. Like it's all in your mind. But yeah, and then I had to like
Tiger Woods with the ruptured Achilles. That is insane.
It was pretty nuts. And then it's like you got to go do press and you got to do, meet the Olympians. And I couldn't let anyone know. Everyone's like, "Are you healthy this year?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm just walking with extra swag, and yeah, it was pretty crazy.
And you can't wear any brace, nothing.
Not for that.
Yep.
How did that happen? How did you break your leg?
I was in Florida doing my last run through, and there was no room to really practice the routine. So I do a lot of b-boy breakdancing stuff. So I have this weird kind of cattywampus, like off one leg gainer flip I do. So I was trying to just practice it. But it was kind of an area like this where the wall was close. So I went, and there was a lady walking, one of the workers was walking in. And so as I went to launch into my flip, I caught her eye. That kind of threw me off. Then I thought, oh shit, I'm going to hit the wall. So I was upside down, pulled out of the flip early, and came down and just landed. I thought I tore my knee again. But it was actually, I broke my fibula.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, like that's not good. So I was like, okay, well, I just tore my ACL again, so we're just gonna try to roll with it. But then like it was different. I couldn't explain where. I didn't know if it was even maybe I tore my calf. I didn't think I broke the bone.
Right.
But it was like you just got to put it out of your head.
Did you tear something along with the break, or was it just
no?
And
it was actually a pretty clean break, like right under the knee. So I went home and got x-rays and like, oh no, it's broken. I was like, all right. And my surgeon, he knows me at this point, he's like, you got to get crutches. I was like, nope. And so I literally started walking out. He's like, where are you going? I said, that's going to screw up my hip and my other leg if I get on crutches again. I'm like, I'll take it easy. And he's like, you're my worst patient ever. I'm like, I know. But yeah, I just tried to kind of, because the thing is, like when you break something, then it throws other stuff off.
Everything's out of line.
Well, at that point, post-competition, your body's just depleted. You're lean, so everything's fragile.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll end up messing up something else. So I'm just going to try to walk lightly.
So wait a minute. You didn't even go in a cast?
Mm-mm.
What?
I know.
So you just like didn't
kind of
run.
Wobbled. But again, in my head, I'm like, like a little penguin, like totally awkward. But I got through a 2-minute routine. So I was like, if I can do that, I can just take it easy.
Did you do a flip? Like
in
yeah.
In
oh
the
my God.
That's
you
insane.
did the flip after messing up the flip and breaking your leg, practicing the flip?
I had to change 2 things out of that. I still did that flip.
Oh my
but
gosh.
I had to change some things and I couldn't
And you won
it.
this year?
Yeah, it was 2021.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because last year I couldn't compete. I had some health issues come up, and they're like, "Hey,
you don't say."
I know, shocker, right? They're like, "You probably need to sit this one." I was like, "Fine," but yeah, I want to finish what I started and go for that 4th title. So,
is this the last one?
I don't know. I never say never.
Never say
like,
it's the last one.
Yeah, if I like it and I'm healthy and having fun. I mean, I choreograph for a lot of the athletes I compete on stage for. They're my clients too.
Right.
So when they're flying in from literally all over the world, because I choreograph for a lot of international clients of mine too, who are all pros.
Sure.
And I'm doing the full routine with them. So I'm like, well, shit, if I'm teaching you to do this and I can still do it, why would I not be on stage?
Sure.
So yeah.
Like let them figure it out. We'll see if
Yep.
I still got it. Yeah. I
So-
love that.
I have a question. At this high of a level, can you be natty and still actually be competitive against all of the different individuals?
We actually, because we coach a lot of pro athletes. And for guys, let's be real. If you're a guy in our sport, it's really rare if you're on the Olympia stage.
Yeah.
Let's be real. But females, yeah.
Okay.
We have a lot of clients who, and people like Miss Olympia or Miss Figure Olympia, 6 times. She's our client.
What's her name?
Sid Gillian.
Can we look her up?
Yeah.
Let's see. She's natty?
Totally
natty.
And like no one will believe
I'm
it.
so happy I wore this shirt for this episode.
Yeah, totally, right? Yes. Yeah, but she's
I knew we'd
and
get
it's
into that.
CYD.
Okay.
Yeah. But
her last name?
Freaky Body Sid Gillian. So it's GI vitamin C right there.
I love that
That's
name.
a great name.
Yeah,
That's a
right.
great name.
I mean, her physique is ridiculous,
Oh my
out of
gosh.
control. And people will always say, no, there's no way. It's like, yeah, she's literally, I mean, but she's done this for so long, but her body is freaky good.
I'll say.
And yeah, you know, that's the thing. I mean, for females, it's different. Sadly, you do see a lot of females in the industry, but they kind of get too bulky. It's not about muscle mass. It's about symmetry.
Yeah.
I'm by far not the biggest chick on stage at all. Even like in my division, it's all about symmetry, having the smaller waist, making sure your quads, your glutes match your shoulders, your back, your V taper. Yeah. It's not about like mass muscle and density like it is more for the guy. Guys, it's still symmetry, but sometimes girls
on
will
the
do
big
crazy
ones.
shit.
But I think we're seeing a big resurgence of the classic physique. I
Yeah.
mean, we're seeing. I mean, especially because of Chris. I mean,
Yeah.
his physique kind of throws us back to what Arnold used to push, and that's like, I mean, to me, that's sort of what
I'm
at
sure
least
he's natty. Yeah, I'm sure.
Do you know
he's
Chris?
I do. Yeah, he was actually just at our gym because we do a lot of the Olympia battles.
Nice.
So they'll fly in. So we had Chris Bumstead and then Dino, who just won the Arnold Classic. So we had them battle it off doing lifting. We had Derek Lunsford and Sampson just in last
You're
week.
kidding me.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we had
heavy
Aaron
hitters.
Banks and Jeremy Buenda in the week prior. So yeah, they
Well,
come
for
in.
professional bodybuilding, I mean, your facility is known, I mean, throughout the industry for being what it is. Are you
Yeah.
only one location?
Yeah, just
One. I
Yep.
love that. And
Yeah.
that's why people are coming to you.
Yeah, everyone's like, you gotta open up. No, why would we? We're not having a
Come
problem
to-
with people
Come to
coming
me.
in and yeah,
Make it I love I call it the Tulum jungle gym business model.
totally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Like, hey, man, I'm not going to bring this shit to you. You
Yeah.
come here.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a destination.
It's a destination.
Heck yeah. It's like it's hard enough to just manage that one facility too.
you're
So
telling
it's like, right?
Yeah.
you get it.
I
Yeah,
get it.
So nope, we're one. No plans to do another one. No need to. Everyone just comes. So
You mentioned, that there are some underdogs or people who maybe like train quietly and then sort of just and oftentimes when they pop off in the industry, it's usually like there's like a video of them that just suddenly surges.
totally. Yep.
It seems like Chris may be a good example of this.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
he had that the video,
Taking
you
the
showed
shirt
it to
off,
me.
yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
you need to see this guy. I was like, okay. And I remember he was in the hoodie and he was just sitting there and I'm like, all right, well, and then he did a big unveiling.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, where's this guy been? I haven't seen this
Yeah.
dude anywhere. This was how long ago would you say? I mean, how many years has Chris done it? He's just won.
So I think he's won his fourth now.
Fourth.
Yeah.
So about 4 years ago is where he kind of broke into the scene.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to prove the point, to reach the level he was at 4 years ago took years of training and
Totally.
consistency
Yep.
that none of us saw.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the hoodie athletes. I
Yeah.
love the guys that are like, I'm not here for you to look at me, not yet.
Yes.
I'm going to show you.
You'll see me on stage. Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
But I mean, what I love about his physique specifically,
Oh my
is
gosh, is that him?
he's an athlete.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he snowboards, he like does
Yes.
different activities. When he's
He's-
walking, he looks normal. Like he's a.
That's what
he's
people
a
were
physique.
surprised at because, of course, when he was at our gym filming, and he comes in town a lot. He's now engaged to Courtney King, who was actually our client when she won Bikini
Yeah.
Olympia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Wow, he doesn't look that big." And then he takes his shirt off, and everyone's like, "Oh, just kidding." Yeah,
He's
he
he's
just
enormous.
he
How big
hides
is he?
it well.
What is he? Two?
That's a great question.
I
I
don't
won't
even
even
wanna-
try to make shit up. And
I'm not either because I don't want to. I don't want to blaspheme his weight. I
Yeah.
mean, how tall is he? He's over 6 foot.
Yeah,
right?
I think he's 6'2", 6'3".
So I'd say that's probably what 245.
We got 265. Jake, look it up.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Lean
Little
on the
battle.
stage. You think he's 265?
I'm saying his like walking around weight.
Well, that's not his walking around weight though. That's
Okay,
his stage
fine. I'm
weight.
guessing 265. I'm just gonna stick to it.
You know, and the thing is that he gets big off season, but not massive. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of it helps him come in tight condition because he's not having to drop 50 pounds sometimes. Or a lot of the bodybuilders and stuff they have to get so
They
massively
yo-yo
big.
up and down.
Yeah.
And it's also exceptionally not healthy.
Right.
Which-
totally.
I mean, okay,
264
Oh wow.
on stage.
off season 230
Off-season.
Okay.
contest.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
So I
Yeah.
was off by a pound.
You're off by a pound on the walking around weight, which wasn't that image, so I win.
And you know what's pretty badass about him? So I was in Generation Iron, that documentary, Generation Iron 3 with him.
Yeah.
This was before he'd ever won. And he was such a normal, humble, just chill guy.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed. With all his success, he does not act like he's any bigger, better than anyone. Like, he's legit. What you see is what you get.
That's good to hear.
That's
good to
so
hear.
rare, I feel like, with so many athletes in any sport, not just our industry, but when they have that level of success, they're just like, everyone's just beneath them.
Yeah.
No.
Especially
he
when
is-
you look like this. I mean,
Right? And he's by far the biggest name
In
he's got like 15.5 million
Yeah.
followers.
wow.
So he's the pinnacle in our sport, and yet doesn't even act like it. Will talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Takes time forever. He's just such a good, solid human.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's something that I think oftentimes we do. They say don't meet your heroes, and a lot of times you realize that, especially
Yeah.
with more people especially once you're in your industry and you're kind of established, you start meeting peers, and if they come off a certain way to me as like a professional equal,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how they are to people that they consider to be underlings, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's very cool and very rare. And we were just saying this after Chris Powell came in.
Yeah.
And just how incredibly genuine the dude was.
100%.
And I mean, look, we've had, like everything else, you had good interactions, bad interactions. People who come in, they leave, and we're like, oh, thank God they're gone.
Right.
But
Yeah.
after we met him, we were just like, it is so cool to actually meet genuine people that
Yep.
are really just who they seem to be. Because he seems a certain way on camera, and
Right.
he is that way
And
in
he
real
is,
life. You're like,
yeah.
wow, he's just really like this.
Yep.
Such a cool thing.
Totally. He is pretty badass. I like him.
I wanted to circle back because you touched on something that I had a question on it previous to you even coming in, because I know you're a mom and I know that they're obviously involved in sports. The debate over, because your approach to your kids and their athletics being, you're totally open. Hey guys, do whatever it is you want to
Yeah.
do what makes you happy. That's how our parents were.
Uh-huh.
And I personally prescribe to that mindset as well. I think it's a good idea to let your kids be well-rounded, let them figure it out. But at the same time, I mean, we didn't become professional athletes. We never got to a level that, somebody who prescribes to the Earl Woods mindset,
Sure.
who says, okay, well, no, I'm not going to let my kid be well-rounded. My kid's playing golf. And I am going to do every single thing I possibly can to get this kid to the Masters.
Yeah.
I mean, where would you land on that? Do you see that as a completely mismanaged form of parenting? Or is there value? Because, I mean, you take extremes like the Gracies. I mean, they had that one kid that they basically adopted and just raised to be a fighter from the time he was born. I mean, that sort of thing to some people would be like, wow, that seems kind of crazy, maybe not responsible. But at the same time, I mean,
Yeah.
the greats are oftentimes raised in a very extreme environment.
Right.
How do you see that?
Honestly, for me, it's whatever you do, you got to do it 110%, and you got to do it with passion. As soon as that starts dropping, find something else. So again, I don't care. Like right now, football is their thing. Are they going to go to the NFL? Who knows? My senior or soon to be senior
Do
child,
they want to?
yeah, he's being recruited right now, has schools looking out. But again,
Wow,
I'm like,
that's
you got to
awesome.
have a plan B. So school's important. They're thankfully really smart. So they're going to go somewhere with grades. But think about it too. Like, I never knew I'd be doing any of this shit. Like, not at all. This was not what I even had in any vision or dream. So my life went completely 800 ways. Cool. You just got to roll with it. And I think it's just the way I am as a parent is the way I've lived my life. So I know that I had this plan, and that's not the direction it went. Thank God, because it sounds like a pretty boring life.
What was it, if you don't mind me asking? Prior
was-
to doing this, what was your plan, if you will?
So I would graduate. I went to ASU, just get a normal job, get married. I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart at the time, have kids, and you just do the family life. But then it was just kind of like I ended up getting divorced. My boys were 3 and 5. And as shitty as that is as in a situation, like you never want that. But it was good because it kind of propelled me to go, all right, wow, well, the life I thought I was planning didn't, there's a huge wrench in it now. So what the hell am I going to do? And I'm like, well, at this point, I want to live a a fucking rad life. I want to do crazy shit. I want to leave an impact and leave my mark. And I love helping people and making a positive influence. Yeah. So I was at that time working in an ad agency, and I loved it, but I just wanted to positively impact people. So I took my fun hobby of training people out of my garage and said, you know what, I'm going to actually go work at a place and do this. And I quit my 6-figure job and went and started working for minimum wage at a box corporate gym.
Oh my gosh.
Totally nuts, right?
Wow.
But it's like I felt that I didn't know what the hell was going to happen with it, but I'm like, I feel like this is something right. Just go in this direction. I was passionate about it. So I feel like if you have passion about something, you won't fucking fail.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the way I approach it with my kids. Just whatever you're doing, you can't half-ass it. Mm-hmm. And as long as they're busy, so they're not getting into bad shit, I don't care what it is they do. As long as they're happy, they're having fun, and they're putting 110% effort in.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, again, they could have their lives planned out a certain way. And, you know, my youngest, who's going into high school, he has no clue what he really wants to do. It changes a lot. But my oldest, he's like, I want to he wants to go to the Air Force. He wants to, you know, be a pilot or do something with aerospace. And he could go that direction and then end up being, I don't know, a kindergarten teacher. Cool. Like, whatever it is, just do whatever makes you happy. So I just support it as long as they're not like, I want to be a drug dealer and get in the mafia. I might be like, yo, let's take it back again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like if you push, they're gonna rebel at some point.
If it's not their passion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, I think, answers the question it makes it tricky because, again, I'm using Tiger Woods because he's the clearest example of this. I mean, at that age, you could tell. I assume you saw the documentary, Tiger. At that young age, him swinging that golf club, his obsession with it.
Yes.
You know, Earl's obsession with his success was matched only by Tiger's obsession with the sport itself. You could see that on his and I think, you know, he gets a lot of flack for a lot of the seedy stuff he did, but I think Earl really saw this kid loves this.
Yeah.
What if I, you know, kept him away from everything else, you know, and remember there was that stuff with his ex-girlfriend that they got rid of her. He took this young prodigy, as he saw it, and forced him to focus. But there was still passion.
Yes.
And I think you're right. Without passion, Tiger Woods wouldn't have been Tiger Woods.
Right.
For every one of those, you know, there's that Netflix documentary on the football quarterback. His dad raised him to be a quarterback from he was like 2 doing drills. Had 0 social life. Like, the kid was really good. He got to the I think he made it to the pros, and he went through, I think, USC. He was like the top rated quarterback. And once he left the house, things went crazy because he had no experience in the real world. He had, you know, he never got to find out on his own what he liked, what he didn't like, but his entire life was just like back
crazy, like drugs or
drugs and so like going out all the time, and he didn't know how to handle it. So I think for every like Steph Curry and every Tiger Woods, you know, how many like young athletes start out as prodigies and then end up, you know, in a different place. So it's interesting. I like your perspective. Do whatever you're passionate about and follow that until its end. And if you're no longer passionate, find something else that works.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, I would never allow them to just quit. So say they're having a bad day. It's helping teach them to go, look, life's not going to be fair. You're going to have hard days, but know that tomorrow you're going to wake up. And if this is a consistent pattern where you're not looking forward to practice, you're not excited about the games, then you know your passion has dropped and now it's time to do something else. So yeah, I mean, as a parent, you got to guide them. And like, if they signed up for a season, I'm like, I paid for this season. You're playing the entire season. At the end of it, you can evaluate and go, do I love it or not? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you have to guide to a certain point. But I think too, like opening up the gym and seeing these parents come in, now it's not like it was when we grew up. Yeah. They're like, my child goes to school 5 days a week, and then they have practice from 4 to 8, 3 times a week. I need a personal trainer for the 2 days that they have off, and the kid's just sitting there like, I'm like, are you excited about this? And they're like, I really don't want a day off. I'm a child. I'm 10 years old. I want to play video games.
The parents are fighting in the stands. And
Yes.
they're yelling at the refs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I think I saw too much of that as my kids are getting older where I'm like, I will not be that parent. I'm going to let them choose.
No,
Yeah.
I like your perspective, but I also like the do not quit mentality.
Oh, for sure.
There was I am really kicking myself that I can't remember who it was that did this study. They looked at the brain. They did brain scans on young children who were given a task to complete. They did several different tasks, some small, some large, something like a puzzle or something much larger.
Sure.
And they showed on this scan that when the tasks were complete, the larger the task, there was a line that was shown in this brainwave that showed a beginning and an end, followed by a release of dopamine and basically the reward when it was completed. Then they did the scan and they showed the kids who, for whatever reason, couldn't complete it. Couldn't figure out the puzzle, couldn't match the equation, couldn't do the big, whatever it is, the line was broken.
Yeah.
They then showed that pattern of broken, basically quitting, is habitual and gets harder to break that cycle the older we get.
That makes a lot of sense.
So,
think about it. Yeah. It's a habit. That's your norm. You just quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all know people like that. We all know people who they pick up something, they can't finish it. They go from one business venture to the next. They cannot stay in a lane to save their life. And they're always doing something. You're like, oh, wow, what's he doing now? Well, I don't know. He didn't do what he was doing before.
Right.
That's kind of...
Well, I mean, you talked about Jake's dad bod. I mean, are you quitting? Are you quitting on your routine? What's up, bud? No,
I blame my gym partner who
it's
he
definitely my
uninspires me in the gym.
way to go. We got to work on both of them now. Great.
Yeah, well, I keep trying to get Jake to go in the ice bath.
How was that
because,
ice bath yesterday?
It was tough.
You did how long?
It's not important how
It
long.
is important how long.
2.5 seconds, maybe.
No, it was 4 minutes.
Do you implement that for your recovery at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as I hate it, like I bite a towel because I'm like, I'm going to scream or cuss someone out, but there is no denying it. Like, especially when I'm getting into routine practice, because sometimes it's 4 straight hours. So I'll come out of my aerobics room like, everything
crawling.
hurts. And then I go straight into the ice bath. It's at the gym.
Yeah.
And literally 8 minutes later, I jump out and I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, there is nothing
It's
that
insane.
can give you that type of recovery.
Yeah.
And cryo for me has never worked. I mean,
No, never.
some people like it. I'm like, this is the waste of 3 minutes of my life.
It's a watered
not
down.
doing it.
Well, because if you think about it, I mean, the percentage of people, if we were to ask them to get into the tub, would make it less than, I mean, most would make it less than 3 minutes, like for sure.
For sure.
You can't charge someone $68 for a 3-minute experience. And
Yeah.
you're like, I don't think I could do this anymore. Okay, well, bye.
Right. Yep.
So
Yep.
a watered down version of that is cryo.
Yep.
Hey, I can just dial this up. We'll go for 12, 13 minutes and we'll come
Yeah.
back down and then we'll give you, so it's a much more commercial sell. It makes
Yeah.
sense from a business
And
standpoint.
it's so hard to do it for yourself. I mean, to have your own cryo at your house,
Yeah.
it's doing the ice bath, anyone can do it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before they had these ice baths, I was doing ghetto style with those huge trash cans, getting the ice from McDonald's because it's the large ones.
Yep.
Get the hose. Like, who cares?
yeah.
Like, it worked. Get a little step ladder and jump in and just sit there and like freeze.
Yeah.
But I mean, it works. It works. Do you guys wear the neoprene toe sleeves?
I don't.
I mean,
because
yeah.
I'm good.
It's- If you have trouble with it, that is a game changer.
Brandon likes just judging anyone who does anything that's not perfect
Yeah.
to his
I'm
standard.
You're just like,
no,
really?
I don't do that.
He's a descendant of Wim Hof.
Yeah, there you go.
one of the,
He's
one
a
of the
relative.
one of the first guys I saw doing that was probably him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a new thing at all. It's
Right.
been, I mean, people have done this for thousands of years. People have done this.
Yeah.
But it is a powerful means of recovery.
It is. It is. Yeah, there's no way, honestly, especially, when you're trying to do 3 to 4 hours 3 times a week, if I don't have that recovery, I'm not going to be able to move and jump and flip. Your body's just not going to function like that without it. So, yeah, huge props to it. For anyone who's never done it, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like plugging into a battery.
Yeah.
It's a great. Do you ever get into the details on? Because I feel like sometimes people overcomplicate this topic. They want to know, hey, should I do it before my workout? Hey, after? How long? And usually I tell them like, well, are you doing it at all? They're like, no. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I stop. Just do it.
Yeah, don't
Start
worry about
doing
when.
it. Don't
Just
worry
try.
about it all that much. Just
Yeah.
go inside of it. But what is your? I mean, how long do you do it for?
I usually do it 8 to 10 minutes.
See?
And yeah, because
Okay.
yeah, 8 to 10 minutes. It's there to me. If
what I do.
it's less than 5, I
You're-
don't get that
yeah.
full recovery. I really don't. And so it's like if I'm doing this, I'm going all in.
Listen,
I'm gonna do it to the top degree.
This is a strong point of
everyone-
contention amongst these two, right?
So
I know people disagree with that,
Oh, people do. Yeah.
but I'm telling you what works.
They're
listen.
over there.
Yeah,
I am not saying that either one of you were wrong. What I,
think
was
you
simply
kind of
saying
are, but no.
is the goal is 10 to 11 minutes a week, and how you get there, if it's 3 sessions of 4 minutes and then 3 minutes to end it, or if it's just a one session doing the full 11 minutes. Why I like doing it 3 times a week is because you have that initial shock that you have to recover from
Yeah.
3 times versus that 1 a week.
Well, why don't
That
you
was
do it
my
3
point.
times a week,
Oh.
8 minutes?
Thank you. Thank you. This is exactly
Too
the
much
kind of
time
argument
in.
I gave. Like you don't like that it sucks. You want
Right.
it to suck less.
But you
It
know what?
takes
That's
you
where
to
you
chime
train your
in.
brain. That's where your mind is like, I can do this. Like that's what I like about it. I hate it, but I'm like, this is another
It's
test.
not optimal. 30 minutes is not optimal.
Have you ever undertaken like hot yoga for your stretching, for all that kind of stuff?
I did it once. So like, if I sit still too long, I'm out.
What hot yoga class did you go to?
I-
You're not sitting still.
I know. Well, this was forever ago, and then there was so many stinky people. I was like, I don't know about this. So yeah, it was like stretching, and I'm like,
Hot yoga class in
how much
Bangladesh.
longer is it? Yeah, right. I don't know. Everyone says that. They were like, "You fell asleep." I'm like, "Yeah," on a sweaty ass mat with stinky people everywhere. I was like, I could find better things to do.
Oh,
yeah,
you should.
I don't know.
You should try Yoga Spot. It's not. I mean, I wouldn't go there if it was like stinky people and falling
Really?
asleep. Yeah, no, it's good. It's
Okay.
oh yeah.
Just bring nose plugs or something.
It's not. I mean, I don't. It's not bad.
really.
Really, unless
Okay.
I'm the one stinking up the place and
Yeah,
everybody
maybe you're
else
the
is
stinky
suffering.
kid. Yeah, I'm like that guy. Oh, jeez. Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, for me, because I follow at least 1 to 2 ice baths a week and at least 1 yoga session a week.
I could use it. I mean, obviously stretching, flexibility, but yeah, I haven't done it for a while. Maybe now you've motivated me. Give you props. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about cutting because that's unique to the sport that you're in.
hmm
Is it healthy?
There's healthy ways to do it. There's a lot of crazy shit. I mean, hello, how many people have died in the last several years? And it usually happens right around showtime. Now, granted, a lot of it's males, bodybuilders, so that's more extreme cases. But
Seems to be linked to drugs too.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
And like LASIK is a hard cutting drug that like is crazy. But I think a lot of people don't realize like what they're taking sometimes.
LASIK.
LASIK.
What,
I don't even know what it's. I want to. Maybe it's blood pressure. Not blood pressure.
what's it in? Like what are they taking that has it?
No, it's a pill that they take.
They're
and it's-
taking LASIK.
Yes, and
For
it's
what reason?
to like drop water.
Oh,
get-
okay.
yeah.
So it's a fat or not a fat burner. I
It-
don't even what a dehydration.
Yeah, just to kind of pull the water from your body so it dehydrates you, you know, because they have natural things like dandelion root and stuff that's super safe.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to water deplete you so that you can pull in super, super tight.
Weight loss.
But-
It's diuretic.
Yeah.
Okay,
so-
all right. So it's a
Prevents
water.
your body from absorbing too much salt.
But like that's where it's crazy because people are, you know, or if you have any health issues. So a lot of times coaches who don't know, they think this is how you do it. If you're not educated and you're trying to prep someone, you got to be careful. Like you can script their metabolism, you can literally send them to the hospital. People have heart attacks, like crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can cut. I would never have any clients do anything that I don't personally do. Now, granted, I have heart issues. I have all sorts of stuff. So I don't even take like dandelion. I shouldn't say that. I take dandelion like for photo shoots, but for stage, I'm naturally lean.
Yeah.
So and this is off season. So if I took something, I'd look like an anatomy chart. And when I get lean close to show, I already look like
And
just,
do you? I mean, are you taking anything to keep this size or no?
no, because like I don't even take fat burners because of my heart issues. But I train year round.
Yeah.
So like that's
And you
why
diet.
my weight.
What's your diet? What do you eat? I mean, what's
I eat like an asshole. That if you want me to be honest,
okay?
I am the
You're about to
worst-
like this.
I am
Yeah.
the worst dieter out there, and my clients know it because I'm very vocal about it. I eat donuts every day.
What
I,
the hell?
Yeah, it's bad. Not every. I eat Oreos every day, but I eat donuts at least 2 to 3.
Oh, I like this.
Life is bullshit.
Eli.
Like this is so not
Makes so
fair.
much more sense.
I mean, but again, in my division, I train like a lot, so I start getting skinny.
Are you counting macros?
I don't now. I know I did. I
Yeah.
did. I mean, to be honest, like when I got in this sport, I would literally like eat healthy for a while, but my metabolism just got consistent. And then I'm like, well, damn. And I couldn't before. Like 15 years ago, I was the normal chick who ate a carb and it would show.
Yeah.
And now it's just sugar works for my body. If I eat healthy for 48 hours, like 2 straight days with no sugar or no bullshit fast food stuff, I look horrible.
Wow.
Yeah, and I gain weight.
After a big win, what is your go-to cheat meal?
Ooh, I mean, anything with sugar. I
Anything
don't
with
just
sugar?
Eating Oreos every day.
Yes, and going into prep, at the end, my body's just a machine with how it's burning. So I eat almost 4 to 6 donuts a day because the amount of calories I need to take in. Otherwise, I show up just scrawny.
Wait a minute, because you're training and doing your tumbling so aggressively, is that
Yeah.
really all it is? You just increase. I mean, how many hours in a day are you actively training?
Close to show. So about, I'd say 6 to 8 weeks out. 3 times a week, it's multiple hours of routine training. Then I still lift. But then the other days, it's just an hour, hour and a half maybe total. Where
Your
I do some
lift, so
cardio and
yeah,
lifting.
so
Yeah.
actual training is like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not like
It's not, it's just weird. Like, I'm just fucking weird. I'm being
genetics
dead
are
honest.
not fair because honestly,
It
there
100%
are a
is, yeah.
lot of people that work
Yeah.
out 90 minutes a day, 7 days a week.
For
If
sure.
they eat an Oreo, they're going to die.
Yes. Or it shows. Like,
It
I
shows.
know.
For-
One of
They
my
feel,
best
they feel
friends
guilty about it for
is-
a week.
Totally. One of my best friends can't have she cannot veer from her diet and she competes. She's like, you are such an asshole. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Let's get a donut.
It's just a machine. Like, even when COVID hit and the show was pushed,
Yeah.
because Olympia used to always be in September. So September came and I was not trying to lean down. My body dropped 10 pounds to the point where I was like, wait. And I talked to another girl who's kind of like me and she goes, your body knows it's Olympia time. I was like, what? And she's like, it's consistent. You've done this now for how many years? And it's not like I'm crazy with, extreme dieting or anything,
Wow.
but my body just got in that rhythm. And so now that the dates have changed somewhat, my body starts getting lean in September. Now it's now it's November this year. So I have to increase my calories come September.
You have to, and this happens almost subconsciously. Your body just
Totally.
gets, wow.
Because I wouldn't have even amped up my training. Like 2020 Olympia was in December. So I wasn't going crazy hard with my workouts. And I just kept dropping weight. And it was like, what? It's so weird, right?
It's insane.
As a gym owner and as a professional, how did COVID impact you when that was all going on? Did you guys have to shut down?
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
We did for like a week and a half.
Right.
And then we covered all our windows with paper. And then we snuck everyone in through the back. And then the
There's
cops came and,
You're kidding me.
like,
The cops came? What
A
did they
lot.
say?
they were actually somewhat cool. Several of them ended up being gym members, which is kind of cool because then they kind of helped us out. But they were like, listen, you can't be you guys got to shut down. But we actually flipped the business model because at that time it was just personal training. So when COVID hit, it was like, we still paid our staff and it was going to be hard to stay open if we had to actually close like they wanted us to.
Yeah.
So then we changed it to membership-based key card access. So when the cops would come, they couldn't get in. And they were knock, knock, knock. And we're like, oh, I don't see ya. You know, and so
Sure.
eventually they're like, we see you can see us. So we would open it and we're like, look, we can monitor how many people are in here. Now, granted, we hid them. When we saw the cop cars roll up, but that was the way that we kind of got away with it. And then with like Mountainside and everyone just being in an uproar,
Right.
Gilbert wasn't so rough. It was just kind of like, hey, don't cover your windows. We know what you're doing. And we're like, all right. So it impacted us because obviously a lot of people weren't coming in. So, you know, and we didn't get any of the money, the PPP. There was none of that because all our employees are contract employees.
Sure.
So it hit pretty tough. And I have 5 businesses. So 3 of the 5 were completely shut down.
What other businesses do you run?
So there's the gym and then there's the online training company. Then I have a fitness apparel line and an events promotion company because I do the Whitney Jones Classic here. I have a fitness app that we launched as well. And then I also have now the Arizona State Championship show and the Triple O Dynasty Pro-Am show.
Good for you.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
And all of that
Nuts.
shut down, or those didn't because those were online.
The online one was the one that didn't, as well as the app. Those were the only 2 that weren't affected. Everything else shut down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they say, I mean, the industry took I think they said like over 80% of personal trainers were laid off or fired
Yeah.
during that. I mean, I don't think we'll ever see the likes of that again.
No,
I
I
hope
hope
I
not.
hope not.
Yeah, it was awful.
I also hope people were paying attention and at least diversify their portfolios in a way that they're like, because honestly, anybody that at this point is like, well, yeah, but we're done with that. I mean, they're not going to do it again. I'm like, okay, you deserve to have your business taken away. If
Yeah.
you aren't forward thinking enough to think they
Totally.
won't try to do that again, you're not a responsible person. You should have been paying attention the first time.
You
They
gotta
will.
be prepared.
Fool me once.
Yeah, right. Well, and the thing was, if the gym was my only business, I would be in massive trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, my apparel line, everything's overseas, so that took. I mean, it's still recovering
Well, I
because
bet.
you just can't even get items, and I'm super specific about the fabric and sourcing the fabric, so that's still recovering.
Yeah.
But thank God I had other like revenue streams coming in because you're right. If otherwise,
And
you're,
a loyal following base here
Yeah.
for your
For
gym itself.
sure,
I
totally.
just it's very hard, and I understand why so many small businesses closed
Yeah.
forever.
Mhm.
It is a very, very hard thing if 80% of your staff has to be let off,
Yeah.
or if you are technically with the mandates. How long did they like want us to shut down? Obviously, most people did it like you did.
Yeah,
We're like,
totally.
well, yeah, whatever, man. We're
Mm-hmm.
not going to close our doors forever. But they wanted us shut down. Was it 6 months? I mean, how
Well,
long?
they did 4 weeks for gyms, and then they let us open for 2 weeks, and then they shut us down
Again, they did it again.
for like 4 weeks. But the second time, every gym owner that I know in the area was like, we're
No.
not shutting down. Like, come arrest us, fine us. We'll figure it out if we have to at that point. And that's why we were like, So the cops would come, like, you can't do this. We're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
bye.
The CEO of Mountainside you mentioned, and I've heard
Mm-hmm.
his name in this conversation like 2 or 3 times because I know he was one of the only, I guess you'd call him a franchise.
Yeah.
He's one
Yeah.
of the only big franchise names that I know was basically like pumping the finger and be
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not closing. This is not,
Yep.
it's not right. You can't force me to do this.
Yeah, he talked on what was it, on media a couple times. He had like a press conference or something like that. I remember seeing
Yeah.
that during the.
What's his name? Do you remember his name?
I totally know it, and I can't. Tom,
Yes.
Tom Hatton.
I've talked to him once on Instagram. I remember I
Yeah.
told him just kudos. I can't
He
remember.
totally like kind of was the point person for the entire gym industry. And then there was Self-Made, who was getting fined daily. I think that was in Phoenix or Tempe. I don't even
Scottsdale,
know. Yeah,
yeah.
maybe it was Scottsdale.
There's
Yeah.
one here now too, right
Yeah.
up the road. I saw
Yeah.
they opened one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, it sucked, and I wonder whatever happened if they.
I do
if they
too.
just dropped
I
it.
want to ask
hopefully.
Tom. Like,
I
do
know.
you still have? Because last I'd heard, he had like $500,000 worth of fines that they wanted him to pay.
Jesus, that's
Like,
ridiculous.
No, I'm not gonna. How about I don't pay you anything? How about
Yeah.
that? What happens
Yeah.
then? I really do wonder that. Like, because first off, who are you paying these fines to?
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
what? The CDC? Who are you paying?
Yeah.
I don't get. And,
I don't
and this
know.
is why I mean it's so much bigger than just personal health care.
Yeah.
The way they did this impacted everyone's livelihood in such a massive, monstrous way. we talk about this when we do seminars, or we talk about it's one of the biggest, not planned, because people ask if we did this because of COVID. We were around years before COVID hit. But this business model, by happenstance, happens to be one of the only, I don't like the phrase foolproof, but it's the only foolproof fitness gym idea that I've ever seen.
Totally. This is so rad. I love it.
They can't, I mean, if they shut me down,
Yeah.
then everybody else has gone to shit. Like,
100%.
they can't get you in your house.
Yep.
So if you're going to start, especially if, I mean, you were not in a startup phase when COVID hit. No. You were well established.
Because, it's, Prophysiques has been around now 13 years.
13 years.
Yeah.
So you had at least 10 years
Yep.
of backtrack and notoriety to stay alive.
Yeah.
Think about if you were in year 1 or in year
hell no.
2.
No way. Because, again, that's where you're not building any revenue. That's not coming in right now because everything's going out. So,
Right.
Sadly.
Heck, even year 5, year 6.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would be able to make it through something like that if you weren't tenure.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've made it to your point where you are, hey, I'm known in this industry. You got all the pros coming here. I'm not going to get rid of this business just because this is the second time you feel we need to get rid of, access.
Totally.
So, I'm glad you guys made it through that.
I know.
It's
Thank
pretty
goodness. We have such an amazing staff. We have amazing clients. So everyone came back. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, it's very encouraging what you guys are doing over there. I really love the way that you've impacted Arizona in general.
Thank you.
I mean, making it such a cool hub. You're a big part of that. There's
again, everyone's coming here, right? So, and in the fitness community, let's make it big. We need to be on the map. Like, Arizona needs to be the fitness hub. It's not just Cali. It's not Florida.
well, especially not
What's
now.
wrong Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Right?
Who wants to go to California for anything?
Everyone from Cali, Washington, Oregon, they all moved here. All of our clients, literally, they would come out in 2020 and then they would move, whether they were single, they were married with kids. We literally had over 20 clients who came for a visit and then they just moved. We're
Can
like,
you believe
wow.
what has happened to our market? How much it's
Oh,
grown? Because we're in the
God.
same market now. We're right
Yeah.
up the road.
Yep.
It's insane.
Insane.
The growth that Gilbert has had.
Yep.
Not just Arizona, Gilbert, the
Yeah.
East Valley.
East Valley, for sure. Queen
Yeah.
Creek, everything's growing. It's like, Jesus. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
insane.
I feel like it used to be because you had Exos, Ian's Place, which was in Scottsdale. It seemed like for a while, probably for the last, I'd say like 10 years ago, Scottsdale, you got the Angels, all the training was in Scottsdale,
Yep.
but the people would live in Gilbert or in Scottsdale. But now it seems like it is shifting a little bit toward the East Valley. And I mean, when I looked, and again, we're 9.5 years old. So when I looked out here in this part of the valley, there really wasn't that many high level places. I was like, this is a better, because it was tossed up in the air. I was living in Tempe at the time. I was like, well, I could try to buy in Scottsdale, which had its own list of problems.
Oh, totally.
Or buy in Gilbert and try to, ground level and go up. And hey, maybe the market comes out here. When I bought out here, Morrison Ranch was like, we were the first house in this whole block.
Really?
There was not any.
That's cool.
Yeah, Gilbert was a tenth of the size of it is
Yeah.
now. But it's grown, and it's very cool to see that both of our businesses have kind of
I
emerged
know,
out
right?
of that.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Right? We're doing something right. Thank God.
We are. Well, Whitney, seriously, thank you so much for coming on. It was such a cool
This was
talk.
fun.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you liked
Oh,
it?
hell yeah.
It's a very kind of low-key, chill podcast.
Which is the way podcasts should be. Everyone's so serious. You're like, boring.
Oh, gosh.
Boring as shit.
Oh, man, if you go on a serious podcast, I'm like, man, you're just really holding your feet to the fire on these questions. Like, what, did you write these all down?
I know. Like, wow. Yeah, no, and I mean, I've done a lot of podcasts, so it's like, that's why when they reached out, I was like, oh, this will be fun. I know you guys would be fun.
Thank you.
Totally.
It's exactly the vibe we wanted to convey.
Yeah.
It's like, especially when you're in, because podcasting now is, I mean, they're everywhere. Everybody's got
Totally.
one.
Yep.
If you want to really make it, you got to kind of situate yourself away from the others and figure out a way to make a niche.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so making it fun was the exact word. That I'm like,
Yep.
we got to make this fun somehow.
Totally. No, I love it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Whitney.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll stop it right there, bud. Thank you guys so much for watching that episode of Becoming the 1% Podcast. If you like the content and you want to see more of it, hit the like and subscribe. Activate that notification bell as well. We really appreciate it. If you guys want to see more of it, we actually have the Becoming the 1% Instagram, and the podcast is available on Spotify. For our socials, we have Strict Vision Athletics on Instagram, we have it on YouTube, and we have it on TikTok.